and welcome to whatever edition of our wonderful shop, social hub of positivity, podcast, vlog, and anything else you want to make of it. Okay? Anything else? Hope you're all well, and thank you for your contributions so far. I have a very special guest. Yeah, this is seriously. Now, you know that Can Do has an open mic that was originally in the Revo Lounge, but now is virtually in the ether through the internet on a Wednesday evening. And one of my personal pleasures on a Wednesday is to see this particular individual and his fair wife and their fantastic band, but this particular individual brings a certain je ne sais quoi to me personally and to the show. Ladies and gentlemen, it's the wonderful Graham Watts. Graham, how are you, sir?
I'm okay, thank you. Nice to meet you.
Isn't it lovely to meet you?
In the flesh.
In the flesh. Now, for the people that are watching this, they know that I'm dressed. For the people that listen to this, I'm naked. Carry on, Graham. You're better known as Woolly Warrior. What is that about, mate?
Well, that's a long story.
I've got time.
That sort of really started with trying to get my friends at work to play music, and none of them playing music, including myself. And
physically with instruments.
Physically with instruments. Yeah. I was given a shed, an old shed at work, and we could build it ourselves. It was going to be put on a bonfire, and they said, "Do you want the shed?" And I said, "Yeah, I'll have the shed." That gives me an excuse to have some drums that I've never been allowed to have. I live in a terrace house, too noisy. Don't give that idiot sticks that you can bang something with. And please, sir, can I have some drums in my shed? Yes. Wow, they're foolish. So I then went and got some drums, the cheapest drums I could find, a bass guitar, the cheapest I could find, some amps, the cheapest I can find, grabbed two very reluctant individuals to go, right, we can make some noise.
And were they the cheapest you could find as well, or were they just
they are very cheap. They'd like to think they weren't cheap, but they're cheap. And that was why I've always come from. I like to think I'm musical, and if you're going to do something, you've got to have a name.
Yeah.
And the name's got to sort of represent realistically where you're coming from. So the Erectors was the name. Being marquee people, we wrecked marquees, and it wasn't a faux pas on anything else.
Or double entendre.
Yeah, it would be that.
So for our French viewers, double entendre. Well, that's got that.
So from that, I instantly, I'm a very foolish person in whatever I do. Put it on YouTube. It doesn't matter. Yeah. Anybody can see it. Film it. They weren't so keen.
Yeah.
What are you doing with your phone? I'm just leaning it there.
Yeah.
An hour later, that's on YouTube. You've put us on YouTube. My mum watches YouTube, surprisingly for a very old person, and went, "You can't be called the Erectors." And I said, "Oh, come on, it's a bit of fun." They said, No, you can't be called the Erectors. So leading on from that, we then did another video, and I realised everyone had woolly hats on, cold, in our shed, no heating. So that became the Woolly Hat Collective, which would please the older people that don't like Erectors, because they think it might mean something else.
Yeah.
So from the Woolly Hat Collective, we then got a terrible disease that's made us all stay at home, and I can't really be a collective on my own. So I'll carry on my own, and I can still be woolly because I've got my woolly hat, but I'm on my own, so I'm a warrior. So it's the Woolly Warrior.
Okay, I like it.
So that's
it
where
was
it
a story
from.
worth waiting for, sir. Now, tell me this, because I have watched with great joy to see you each week, mainly in the shed, although you've done a beautiful visual exploration of your local vocabulary, and this word means ptarmigan. No, you've been doing some beautiful photography or filming for the show. You're doing lots of stuff with effects in your shed. You've got some fantastic posters as well, which I always want to talk to you about. I think, my God, I'd love, seriously, I would love to go for a session, and I mean a music session for anyone out there that doesn't understand what I mean by that. in your shed, sir, play some music and read some posters up close. You've got some fantastic ones. But when did you start playing? How long have you been?
I'd never liked to say I played. I came from, funny enough, I was chatting to Tom, how he got into music.
Tom Mallard, the wonderful, the glorious Tom Mallard.
Yeah, just out of, because I talk a load of rubbish and keep talking and ask people questions because I'm interested in people as such.
That's lovely.
And
shame there aren't more people like that out there.
I never really had music. An upbringing with just my mum, dad buggered off. Never really had music, so I'm not quite sure where the love came from. Maybe watching Top of the Pops that used to be able to watch. People don't watch anymore, it's not on anymore. And I could do that. I could have a go at that. That looks quite glam, not really the fame or the money, but I like prancing around in high heels and swinging a guitar type thing. And I actually had, I think, guitar lesson when I was, I think, 14, and he showed me a chord and I thought I was a rock star, so I didn't go again, and I don't need to go again because now I'm a rock star. And that led to chatting to some friends at school who said, "Oh, we can do a band." And I like to point out...
And that's how Status Quo became.
Yeah, I would point out that this is very late 70s, early 80s, so you didn't have YouTube.
Yeah.
And it was more a punk oriented thing of any noise will do. And we started a band, a school band, and they went, you can't play the guitar, you can't play the drums, how about the bass? That's only 4 strings. So I'm now a bassist and I can't play the bass, so you do, so you can keep a beat with the bass. And sadly that band decided they would get another guitarist who was a very, very good guitarist, and that band became a band called Onslaught. Now I know the young people looking at me going, "Oh, don't know Onslaught," but they're a very big thrash metal band who've toured with Motorhead and everything. And well, I auditioned for that band originally, and the new guitarist, out of the spirit of we haven't got a clue what we're doing and you're not good enough as a singer, and I went, oh, okay. So at 16 my musical career stopped, and I went to work and I had kids and I got a house and I got married and I had a family, and all that time I had a little bass sat in the loft thinking one day I'll have another go and I'll sort of play it, and I never did, so I've never really learnt anything. And surprising, that was probably 16, and then my wife, who's never ever played an instrument, went to the kickboxing next door here, and a friend of hers played the guitar, and unbeknown to me, my wife's got a voice and could actually sing. And they then started a band, and an amazing band, I must say, and she plays the little cajon drum, and suddenly I'm missing out, I'm the musical one, I'll have another go at this. And I think I watched for a while, and I went to a few of their practices while we were still allowed to go to their practices, and thought, do you know what, I'll have another go. And I haven't improved since, but people seem to want to listen. But
and just give a quick plug for that wonderful band that you're watching.
Oh, the Kicking Sisters is the band you want to be listening to. And if you do want to make a donation to these wonderful CDs, they have got a few tracks. I have squeezed more of my tracks on than their tracks.
This is quite amazing, because not only have you got the joy of all of you on this, doing various tracks, as you say, you have quite beautifully, A, packaged them, B, supplied the earplugs. Now, I love what you guys do, so I can't imagine any other than, and then a lovely badge. When you start, that's fantastic actually, mate. And we're going to be selling them and making a donation so that other people can get involved in the studio doing music projects, recordings, because we are going to be doing I keep saying greatest hits, but you know what I mean when I say a selection of some of the however many original songs from the open mic, which you guys are going to feature on. So we're going to do that. I'm interested you do it in CD, MP3 for whatever, but I actually want to do it on vinyl.
Well, my preference is vinyl.
Yeah.
My preference is vinyl, and I was going to, before the lockdown kicked in, I'd contacted someone and I was going to do a 7-inch vinyl for the Kicking Sisters and pay for it myself.
Yeah.
And we needed to record it somewhere properly. I'd like to point out that these are only recorded on a phone in a shed. So the recording is brilliant.
I think that's important.
It's
brilliant because it's done.
Let me just point out.
Yeah, do it.
Richard Penny from Right Digital did these lovely covers for me, and the badges are Steve Sargent, Uncle Punkster's records, and have charged me nothing for any of it.
Wow.
So
I'll be off to tell them thanks for that.
I've got to say a huge thanks to them and my brother for recording it.
Yeah, we can put links on. But you see, here's the bit that I particularly admire. It's the attitude, which is part of why I think of you as the warrior, is regardless, of course there's a world pandemic, then there's all reasons why people could stop and think, actually recalibrate, what am I going to do with my life, what am I doing? Some people have come up with new habits, new hobbies, new ways to get through. Do you think that music has been something that's helped you guys get through?
Music's definitely helped me, if you would like to call it music.
I love it. I'll call it music.
I've pretty much been furloughed all the way through, apart from a few days. My lovely wife has worked all the way through and had to put up with me ranting and moaning and chatting, and luckily, and I am lucky to have a shed at the bottom of my garden with drums in and guitars in, and I must say a huge thanks to Can Do for doing the open mic and putting it on video or on YouTube or web, on Facebook, where idiots like me can upload something and not have everybody watching you live, and you can sort of put it up and hide a little bit from it that you're not a skillful musician, you're not a great singer, but you can have an outlet.
You are Leonard Cohen.
Yeah.
He's a great singer, he's a great musician. You know what I'm saying? I love Leonard Cohen, sorry.
Yeah, but it's helped me. Yeah. I wouldn't like to say it's helped me, but I think it has I'm a very outgoing, active, do stuff thing. I don't think I've sat in my house more than 2 days on the trot ever. So to then sit in the house and not be able to do what you normally do, the freedom to, is, and that's not necessarily making music, that's not necessarily going to the beach, it's the freedom to, and the sudden restriction of that freedom that you've had for 55 years, I know I don't look it, but 55 years to just go and do is incredibly, restrictive to suddenly find you've got that. And I feel that my outlet of this is hopefully to other people that are happy to try something or would like to have a go at something, is just do it. It doesn't matter.
Absolutely.
The 500 people that might think my singing's rubbish, the one person that thinks I can have a go at that, I've inspired one person. I'd be happy with that.
I could not, I will not, I shall not, I am not. I don't know what I was going to say, but let's imagine I was going to say I couldn't agree with you more, because that's part of what the beauty of doing it digitally is. That was a stutter. I didn't stutter, it was actually a technical hitch. Is that I think when it's live and it's a different experience and it's a whatever, but I also think a lot of people would not necessarily do it when it's live. There's something more immediate, and it's got its benefits, no doubt. One of the great things I've seen each week that you guys have been on, you particularly, is your experiment with visuals. You're doing all sorts of stuff. It's like, my God, you're completely comfortable in your own skin stroke shed, which is fantastic. But the idea that you're sharing it, I love it. And you're totally right, of course, I think that's the same thing. You don't have to have your shed. A lot of people do it in their bedrooms, don't they? When I say do it in the bedrooms, I mean record for our open mic on a Wednesday night. Open mic on a Wednesday night. Shut it, Louis. Shut it with you coming out here with all your attitude. I don't need it, Mr. Mask Man. Is seeing people doing it, sharing it, and it not being about winning the X Factor. It not about being, say, the technically best guitarist or drummer or whatever people are doing. You feel it here. I do. I've been described as a super empath. I've been described as a few other things as well, and they didn't have the word super in. But just imagine that at one stage by a counsellor, not my counsellor, but a counsellor who said, "Get this man out of this town." No, not the town counsellor. I meant to say my emotional counsellor. Not my emotional counsellor, Louis. What's the matter with you? What is the matter with you, Louis? Thank you. I know his parents again. I know why. That's all I want to say about that. Anyway, what such a lovely lad. I think that when people are brave enough to share it and then realise that there's, oh yeah, wait a minute, and it's created, that Wednesday night show has created a sense and a feeling of the ones that watch it live, that's one thing. And then you look at a week and look over the weeks and months, thousands of people get to see it.
Yeah.
Now, you've said it before, you don't want to be a star. I mean, I love the idea that you wanted to just sort of dress up in high heel shoes and play guitar, and you're more than welcome to do that.
You nearly got a Kate Bush video of me dressed as Kate Bush.
Wow.
That might still appear at some point.
I can't wait, personally. You know me.
Only the wife's putting me off that and said you could have gone a step too far, but...
No, don't ever let anyone censor your
creative ability.
Isn't it? It's beautiful.
The beard's putting me off a minute, but...
So apart from the fact that we are going to collaborate, selling this fabulous stuff in the shop, via the shop, selling for donations so that we can do more music projects throughout the community. We're obviously going to do some live stuff in that space, or any space we've got. We're going to do some live stuff. We want you guys definitely to come in and do that. And we want you to record for the vinyl, I don't know what we're going to call that thing, but the open mic for open minds, whatever. Besides that, what dreams and aspirations have you got once this dreadful pandemic has been lifted, the scourge of our nations?
Dreams and ambitions. So you could go really deep and explain that you'd like everyone to have an epiphany of love and respect for everybody else because it's been taken away, and acceptance of other people that we're in a very, very good country. Forget your politics and forget your other bits and religion, but we're a very lucky society in we can say what we want, do what we want, wear what we want, love who we want, and we will take it for granted. And there's a lot of countries that don't have that. And
America, for instance.
Well, yeah.
I mean that.
But you have it taken away for a year.
Yeah.
And you suddenly think perhaps people should appreciate that.
Yeah. But it's funny you say that, because I think I would go further. I would say that even though I appreciate that and all the hardship that people have gone through, my own grandfather fought in the First World War, which annoyed everyone because they'd stopped. He just, as soon as the armistice came, he started really kicking off in a big way. No, he actually deserted after he'd fought many battles and the war had finished because he didn't want to get in India. But he fought, and for me to be able to say, I think there should be more democracy. In fact, I'd like to try out democracy for real. I think there should be more local, empowered individuals, the parishes and town councils, who really know, hopefully, I mean, more people have got to get involved. I agree with you. It shouldn't be party politics, but it has to be about people getting involved so we can get our priorities right, because I don't think we've had them right up until this point.
On saying that, you want your man from the street, you don't want your family man that's been in that all their life. Or woman, or person, or alien,
or anyone,
or tortoise,
anyone that is wanting to put up with, as long as they're peace loving and they try to do positive stuff.
But you need open-mindedness in everyone's thoughts of everything. There's going to be different in where you have your allotments, to who has the allotments, to is that allotment more important than a building, and you take money out of it and the allotment is a lot more important than that building, but the council runs on money, so it's
our money. It's our money. So this is the concept. This is something I think people forget. They say the government are giving this money. The money that we're talking about is either borrowed on the basis of our GDP, right, or it's it's been saved up from all the robbery that the country's been involved in for what they used to call the Empire. You know, the Empire is a euphemism for basically a big organised crime syndicate. Anyway, think about that, people. Gurgitate, look at it, look at the figures. How many people were murdered for the sake of the Empire? But anyway, that's another thing. It's not. It's really important. But what I'm saying is, now we need to distribute, we need to look at how we're going to facilitate each other, the needs, there's going to be a massive catch-up emotionally and as far as the mental health stuff goes. New way of looking at education, a new way of looking at social structures. We cannot have the divisions, we can't have homelessness, that's just crazy. The pandemic's really brought this about. One minute everyone knows a matter, there's people homeless, next minute they're all in hotels or somewhere else. Why can't we do that all the time? Do you know what I mean?
You saw the amount of empty buildings in Bath and Bristol,
Totally.
and then you walk the streets and see them on the street, and
yeah.
that is sadly to money.
I see. I think we've got the wrong priorities then.
Well, you've got the wrong authority. You've got the wrong people in authority.
There you
go.
go.
Up on a profit of, I need to make a profit. I've got to make a profit on that, rather than I want to be seen that I'm helping people, and that's not going to make me money. It's going to cost me money. But I'm helping people, and those people could then go into society and make me money from getting a job or other things, rather than I'm going to lose money helping those people. And
the money is the crux of this. If we didn't prioritise money and we just prioritise people, do you think we'd have much more equilibrium in our society, less violence, less conflict?
You're never going to take money away, which is the sad thing. But if you could take money away and say, well, you've got 20 empty buildings, they'd be filled. You know, They'd put them in if it wasn't a case of, well, I've got a food, clean, health, supply something to them. So I'd rather do that golf course because President Trump's going to come in and buy it. Not now, but someone might buy that golf course. So I'll prioritise that rather than those 50 people who are starving to death on the streets. If there was no money involved, they'd just put them in the house.
Of course. Okay. I think you're partly in agreement that if we recalibrated society, changed its focus, and everyone was okay with that, because let's face it, a lot of the wealth in this country not only was from the empire, but it's also from slave trade. That's another subject. Well, I'll speak to someone about that soon. Right. What is your next big ambition beyond? Are you going to be gigging, do you think?
Me, probably never.
Well, you are kidding. You're going to be gigging with us, man. You're joking or what?
I've got on the side of this, which eases me in gently, is you've got the Kicking Woolies, right? Which is people who can play music. Yeah. And
so you've got the Kicking Sisters, then
you've got well, you could have the Kicking Sisters with the Woolly Warrior. Yeah. My great ambition is it would be the Woolly Warrior and the Kicking Sisters, because
you've definitely got to be careful how you say that, particularly if you're in a bar.
But no, I've got on there is they'll do some songs and I'll add.
When you say there, what's that called? Just for the people listening to this.
Right, with this, you've got songs from the Shed.
Yeah.
You've got all the awful things that I've attempted to do.
Stop it, you're marvellous.
You've also got some Kicking Sisters songs.
Yeah.
You've also got some of Sharon's songs.
Yeah.
You've got some of Mary Ball's songs.
Fantastic.
From her bathroom sessions.
Oh, I love it. Check them out, people.
You've also
check all this
got
out, obviously.
What I like to call the Kicking Woolies, which is I get someone who can actually sing or play, and I sit in the background and shake a tambourine, which I then...
That Bez.
Well, I can't quite dance, but if I could dance, that's what it would be. Yeah, now, if you look at the Happy Mondays now, there's two famous people. You name them both.
Yeah.
And there was, 6 in that band?
Kermit.
Well, you only know Bez, don't you? Bez is the one.
That's it.
And
Sean Ryder.
And Sean Ryder.
Yeah.
So
Manny in it.
That would be
Manny in.
No, that's.
No. Maybe that Manny was in.
He was a bass player in Stone Roses. Yeah, and a few other.
I know
bands.
nothing about anything.
But the Kicking Woolies would be my step into getting on that stage that I could. Bit of backing vocals where somebody could sing over me. Yeah. It would probably break that fear and the honesty, the fear isn't of making a fool of myself, because I'd quite happily stand up and make a fool of myself.
I salute you for that, sir.
And it's what I think I do is I'm terrible at remembering lyrics, songs. I think every song I've played, I'm actually in the process of learning and remembering one of the songs I've done, because I couldn't play them for you again. And the fear is that someone go on stage, play some of your songs. It's spur of the moment.
Yeah.
There's no chords. I get ridiculed by my good lady wife, who can play chords now, who's only been playing for a year. And
that's
can
the
now
other thing about that's what I love about you guys. Each
week
week you seem to have just got better and better, if that's even a term for what you're doing, musically, technically, without any. It's just happening. You're doing it. It's like next week.
Well, she is amazing.
Beautiful.
She is absolutely. She's probably more nervous than me to ever get on a stage, and she's done it with the Kicking Sisters, which is a huge step for her, because she's a very shy. People wouldn't think that shy, nervous. To get her to play, to get her to send in a video, took a lot of. Just do it for me, Sharon. I won't send it to anyone. Poof, I've sent it.
Yeah.
Because
the divorce comes up next Tuesday.
Yeah. But how she has learned is absolutely amazing, and to sing and play, and a fantastic voice. Yeah. But I'm enjoying myself. If I ever got on stage and I could play with someone else, I could sit in the background and bang a drum. Maybe not in time, but I'd bang that drum. It's forgetting the words and forgetting it, and making the fact that I would just freeze on stage, and if I could do it slowly behind, hit the side, shake the tambourine, strum a guitar. We have done one song which is on here, which it's called Siren, which I'd written a song.
That's been on open mic.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
I did the music for that, which is all open strings and then a bit of strumming, and everyone seems to, and I'm amazed that there's no chords or anything there. And I wrote a song for that called The End, which was about suicide, and she then went, I quite like that, and I'm not sure your words, so she then went away and come back and said, what about this, play it, and then sang a song about mermaids and shipwrecks, and she put that together in an hour or so, and where that came from I do not know, and she did the words for that, and this just how she did that is amazing.
Beautiful.
But it's almost within an hour or so, but I do know that one, so that would probably be my open mic live. Whether I freeze when I actually did it is a different matter, but I could play that with somebody else, sing it, and that possibly, once you've broken the duck on that I've been in front of someone and I've actually done it.
Yeah. Well, there'll be no ducks broken with can do, people. That's just not right. It's cruel and unnecessary. But we will be hopefully going back with our live open mic. But until that time, we have got the open mic. Check our Facebook and everything else. And also check out these wonderful people, Woody Warrior, Graham Watts, and the Kicking Sisters. Absolutely fantastic. We'll leave it there, and we're going to come back to you soon with another cartoon. Well, probably it might be if Jules is involved. It will be. Thank you very much, Graham.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, people.
Spinning at 1,000.